you should worship God in a very pure state of sincere religiosity. أَلَا لِلَّهِ الدِّينُ الْخَالِصِ. It is only that Allah could be truly worshipped by a pure heart, by a sincere heart. And so what are we talking about when we're talking about Ikhlas? We're talking about a purpose driven in your life by the desire to please Allah. Like your daily reality, not just when you pray your salah, not just on Jumu'ah for sure, but as a daily thought process when you wake up. And that's the Prophet ﷺ, how he started his day. Alhamdulillah alladhi ahyana ba'dama amatana wa ilayhi nushur. I'm on my way back to Allah every time I wake up. I am planning to be gathered in front of Him who has blessed me with my life and everything that I have and everything that I could be. And so I owe Him my life. So that's the first element. So that's why Surah Al-Ikhlas is called Surah Al-Ikhlas. People would think it's Surah Al-Tawheed. But if you recognize that He, the one and only Creator, is the God, that there is no other besides Him. Everything that exists is relying on Him for its existence and how it works. And He needs nothing from anyone. He wasn't born. He doesn't have kids that will come from Him. He is the entity that is unique and separate from creation, but at the same time, very much intertwined, mystically connected in knowledge and mercy. So when you realize this fact about Him, and there's nothing like Him, everything else is a manifestation of His blessing. So you would not be attached to anything but Him if you knew who He was. And that's sincerity. And it is something easy to claim. It's a whole nother story to truly live it. The scholar said, if the way you act in private and in public is in agreement, then you have ikhlas. So this is the point. Here's how we can gauge and assess where we're at with our sincerity. Am I more religious when I'm around someone who is religious than if I am when I'm around someone who's not religious? Am I more religious in front of people at the mosque than I am at home with my family? What kind of words do I use? What kind of behavior do I conduct myself with? How do I treat people? Am I someone who is inside of my heart a believer, and then out by words and deeds, complementing that as we talked about yesterday, proving that? And that's the meaning when the Prophet ﷺ said, Man qala la ilaha illallah dakhala al-jannah. He qualified it by saying khalisan min qalbihi, because it's not good enough that you said it. It's not a matter of worldly affiliation. It is a matter of genuine commitment in your heart. So in the Quran, to help you kind of see, min bayni farthin wa damin labanan khalisa. The point here is that inside of an animal, which has waste and blood in there, lots of it, but in there somehow coming out is pure good milk to drink. That was before they had all the antibiotics and the hormones in it. And so the point is that it's not affected by those things around it. This is the point. See, we live in a society that is about popularity, and it's about acceptance. It's about being liked. It's about getting likes. And the sincere heart is on a constant mission, trying to see the light of God in my surroundings. If you look, these ayat, it keeps talking about creation and how it works. when he's talking about how creation works, he's reminding you of who put it there, so that you can feel a sense of spiritual presence everywhere you go. And that is why you feel more spiritual if you're out in the forest or the mountain or the ocean than you are inside of a building, specifically if you're in front of a device or a TV. Because when you're in that realm, you feel like I'm in my own human-made realm, even though سَخَّرَ لَكُم مَا فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَمَا فِي الْأَرْضِ. Everything that we have, he gave us the means to extract it from the earth and put it together with the intelligence that he gave us. But still, when you're around creation, you feel the sense of the order and the purpose. So we have to be careful that when we do acts of religiosity, when we do things that are supposed to be religious, if I'm going to pray a sunnah prayer, if I'm going to say this or act this way or respond this way, it's not because that's what they're expecting because this is the religious way of doing things. But if I'm with someone else who is not religious, I don't act in such a way. And we can't get confused. It's about substance. I know a lot of Muslims are like, well, around Muslims, I can use a lot of Arabic words. You can, but that's not the point. Islam is not an Arabic religion, right? Anybody think it's an Arabic religion? Of course not. This is a religion for everyone, for all times and all places. Those scholars that are commenting on the hadith where the Prophet ﷺ said, there was no prophethood before me. And then they said, what about Hud and Saleh? If you go back and you look at their culture, it's different. They're Arab al-Ariba, if you know the history of Arabs. Bani Ismail are Arab al-Musta'riba. There's a mixture of that. Different kind of language tones, bit different. Before, there's many prophets. They all were given a message in their languages. And it's about spirituality. It's about substance of character. So we ask Allah in this month that He will purify our hearts, because we cannot do it on our own. We can't do anything. We can't take one step or one breath except for He facilitates that for us. So we ask Him, but then, as they say, put legs on your prayer. If you sit at home saying, Ya Allah, give me sustenance, and then you sit there on the couch all day, do you imagine a check will come in the mail? It will never come. I mean, I guess now with the COVID, but you have to work for it. And the Prophet ﷺ was the master of this. They lost their mind. It was the Battle of Ahzab. He has been told in Revelation that this message is going to reach the corners of the earth, right? That's what he's been told. He believes that, he knows that. He has been raised up into the seven heavens. He knows what's going on. So in Ahzab, after he was raised up in the heavens, it looked like they're all going to be destroyed. They're being surrounded by 10,000 army of all these tribes. And here they are stuck with nothing, no food and water coming in and out of the city. The Prophet ﷺ, he was breaking that rock when it looked like they were all going to go to doom. He says, I've been given the keys to Syria and the Byzantine Empire. They're like, what? I thought we were going to die today. The Persian Empire will be in Muslim authority. The Yemeni Empire. What? He knows what he is believer. He's sincere. And that sense of knowing what will happen and knowing the value of things through revelation is what cultivates sincerity. The ayat are two. They are all around us and within us in creation, and then they are in the revealed revelation. And we have to always be joining between those two. If we do, then inshallah, the future is bright for our community as believers. May Allah protect us and provide for us and make it easy for us, inshallah.